Welcome to Kapeleris Ultimate Talk TV. Be inspired, informed, and elevate your mind one step at a time. Talking about life, real estate, business, and beyond. Your host, author, speaker, real estate broker, Carmela Zita Kapeleris.
Thank you all for being here. I'd like to introduce the Honorable, the one and only, Your Worship, Hazel McCallion. I'm very excited to interview you. I admire and I respect you very much. Tonight we are having the federal election, and you decided to endorse Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister.
Yes.
Can you tell us why you decided to do that, Your Honor?
Well, first of all, I am not happy with the present leadership in our country. We have an all of unemployment. We have 17% unemployment amongst youth in this country. That's a sad situation. When the youth can't graduate from university or college or high school, there's no job for them. Secondly, I'm not at all, I've traveled all over the world, and Canadians are well respected throughout the world. We are a peace-loving nation. We're known throughout the world for that. And Mr. Harper has got us into the fighting, bombing kids and schools, etc., etc. I take real exception to that. I think we should have always remained a peace-loving country. In the past, we've gone into countries after the war was over and helped people get organized. Secondly, our economy is not in a good state. It's in a very bad state of affairs. And secondly, he does not believe in investing in infrastructure. I have to explain infrastructure because people think it's roads, they think it's sewers, they think it's bridges, they think it's transit. It is everything a community needs. It's hospitals, it's educational facilities, it's community facilities. It's everything that a community needs to be a successful community, and for Canada to be a successful country as well as a competitive country in the world situation. Infrastructure builds your community.
Yes.
And you take the congestion in the GTA. I mean, people are sitting on the highway for hours. They're not getting home from work. It's pollution second to none. That's not a concern for the environment. And Mr. Harper has not seen the need of supporting the cities all across Canada. Our infrastructure, I'm sure you read the newspapers last year when I think if there was one water main broke in Toronto, there was 50 that flooded the areas. That means that infrastructure needs rebuilding. And the property tax can't do it. It's got to come from the federal and provincial government. So I have all kinds of reasons for saying we need a change. I'm not saying that maybe Justin and his will solve all the problems, but there's got to be a turning point. And that's, I believe, and he's a young man, and I believe in youth. I think youth.
Yes, for Justin Trudeau. If you could do it over again, what would you do different? Would you focus more on transportation as a major part of development?
There's two things. In fact, I'm going to be speaking to a large industrial commercial developers conference in Toronto on Friday. And they want me to talk about what were the great things we accomplished in Mississauga and what were some of the things that we could have done better. One is transportation. But with single-family homes, which is what people wanted, they didn't want to live in apartments in Mississauga. They might want to live in an apartment in Toronto. But they didn't move out to Mississauga to live in an apartment. They moved out to Mississauga to buy a home. And so the developers built single-family homes. And with single-family homes, you can't have an adequate transit system. You need density. And now we are into density. We now have the second highest density in the GTA. So transportation was something that we could have done better. Secondly is storm drainage. As you know, climate change has come, and none of the municipalities in this country are prepared to deal with climate change and the results of flooding. And so if you drive along Matheson Boulevard, you'll see a construction job going on there, a big hole in the ground. That hole is $28 million.
Wow.
We're building a pond to store the storm water. Because with climate change, our systems in our cities have never been designed for climate change. In other words, the size of the pipes were for normal situations. And so we didn't pay attention as we should have. Our engineers didn't draw it to our attention. Our specialists blew it as well. Because you depend on, when you're a mayor, you don't have all the, you should have qualified people that, even the engineers in any city did not prepare us for climate change. In fact, Canada is not ready for climate change. We're going to have all kinds of flooding because storm water is a very serious situation.
That's a big issue. That's a big issue. Let's talk some more about, in your book, I'd like to talk about your husband, Sam. You married him in 1951.
Yep.
And how much strength, coaching, or guidance was he in your political career?
No, he did his business and I did mine. He was good at what he did. He ran a printing company that was extremely good at it. He was good at design. He ran it, and he helped me with when I started the newspaper, and then when I got into politics, he took that over. One thing about, so he stood behind me and supported me, but he didn't at all get involved in political affairs.
I see.
That was left to me.
That's how marriage lasts long.
That's what we call a good team.
You were born in 1921. You were a child of the Depression.
Yeah.
What kind of impact did that have in the way you think and governed as a mayor?
I think it has a lot to do. You know, when you know that you grew up with very little. I remember I had 2 toys, a plush bunny rabbit and a doll. I wouldn't even play with them because I was afraid to harm them in any way. Today, the kids don't know which toy to choose to play.
Video games.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a perfect example that's unfortunate today, that people are growing up with far too many assets, too many things, so they don't appreciate. Secondly, we, as kids, we had to make our own fun. In other words, you know, we didn't have community centers, we didn't have arenas, we didn't have libraries, etc. So you grew up the hard way, and when you grow up the hard way, I tell you, it sets you up for life.
That's right. They like that too. Some people don't know this about you, but you used to be a professional hockey player in Montreal, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever get injured?
No.
Playing hockey?
Oh, down on the Gaspé Coast when I was playing, I played center. I was fast but small, and in one game I was checked and went into the boards, and I didn't dislocate my shoulder, but I gave it a rough go.
You've always been in pretty good health. I think just a couple of years ago, though, you were crossing the street and you were hit by a truck. How is the recovery from that?
Would you believe that this morning I lined up to vote at the school on Credit View Road, and this gentleman came over and said to me, "I'm the one that hit you."
Really? Really?
He was there to vote this morning.
Wow. But you bounced back fast from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're incredible. You're incredible.